The 90s defined a generation, and one show stood at the center of it all. But beneath the laughter and life lessons, what became of our favorite stars, from heart-wrenching struggles to unexpected career shifts, the cast of Boy Meets World has faced it all. Brace yourselves as we reveal their stunning evolutions. Some will inspire you, while others will leave you absolutely breathless. This is Then versus Now. Ben Savage as Corey Matthews. Born on September 13, 1980, the Chicago native assumed the lead role in Boy Meets World, a show that would become a defining staple of ABC's TGIF lineup. At the age of 13, Savage's portrayal of the neurotic, relatable, and lovable Corey Matthews resonated deeply with a generation capturing the awkward nuance of growing up, falling in love, and learning life lessons from Mr. Feeny. For 7 seasons, he anchored a cultural phenomenon that transcended simple sitcom tropes, making Corey one of the most recognizable and beloved teenagers in television history. Despite the character's open-hearted devotion to his friends and family, Ben Savage was far more guarded and academically driven than his on-screen counterpart, choosing to leave Hollywood at the height of his fame to study political science at Stanford University. This transition highlighted a struggle against typecasting. Upon his return to acting, he found it difficult to shed the persona of the boy next door, which limited his range of available roles for many years. Additionally, recent years revealed a difficult contrast to the show's theme of eternal friendship, as a publicized estrangement occurred between Savage and his former co-stars, complicating the legacy of the on-screen family that fans adored. Ben Savage eventually returned to his roots to star in and direct the Disney Channel sequel series Girl Meets World. Yet his later career was marked by a decisive pivot away from entertainment and toward public service. He launched campaigns for the West Hollywood City Council and a seat in the U.S. Congress, seeking to utilize his platform for political change, though these endeavors met with mixed electoral results. As of 2026, at the age of 46, he is married to Tessa Angermeyer and remains focused on his political advocacy and private life, having largely stepped back from acting to pursue a path distinct from the character that made him famous. Danielle Fishell as Topanga Lawrence. Born on May 5, 1981, in Mesa, Arizona, she joined the cast of the coming-of-age sitcom after the pilot was filmed, replacing the original actress to create a TV legend. At the age of 12, Fishell's portrayal of the eccentric, academically gifted, and strong-willed Topanga Lawrence became a cultural phenomenon, evolving from a quirky flower child into the archetype of the perfect high school sweetheart. For 7 seasons, she served as the intellectual anchor and romantic heart of Boy Meets World, becoming a defining 1990s icon celebrated for her confidence and her famously luscious hair. While the character of Topanga was depicted as unflappable and supremely self-assured, Danielle Fishell faced intense insecurity and professional pressure behind the scenes. Her tenure on the show began with a traumatic ultimatum from the show's creator, who threatened to fire her during her first week if her performance did not immediately change, a moment that instilled a deep fear of failure. Furthermore, as she matured on screen, she became the subject of cruel public scrutiny regarding her weight and body image, facing industry standards that were vastly different from the empowerment her character preached. After the show ended, she struggled to find significant acting work due to severe typecasting, leading her to pivot toward hosting roles and eventually leaving the industry temporarily to attend college at age 27. Danielle Fishell eventually reclaimed her narrative, returning to the franchise that made her famous in the sequel series Girl Meets World, and subsequently carving out a successful new career path behind the camera. She became a prominent television director and found renewed popularity as a co-host of the retrospective podcast Pod Meets World, where she candidly discussed her industry experiences. She also navigated personal challenges, including a public battle with early-stage breast cancer in 2024, which she successfully overcame. As of 2026, at the age of 45, she is a thriving director and producer in Hollywood, balancing a busy career with her life as a wife and mother. Ryder Strong as Shawn Hunter. Born on December 11, 1979, the San Francisco native stepped into the role of the troubled but lovable Shawn Hunter on Boy Meets World. At the age of 13, Strong's portrayal became an instant sensation, transforming him into one of the definitive teen heartthrobs of the 1990s. His character provided the show with its emotional anchor, bringing grit and depth to the sitcom format. By tackling serious themes like abandonment, poverty, and class differences. For 7 seasons, his iconic center-parted hairstyle and sensitive bad boy persona made him a cultural touchstone for a generation of young viewers. Despite playing a trailer park-dwelling underachiever, Ryder Strong was actually an introspective intellectual and poet who often felt out of place in the Hollywood machine. This contrast created significant personal tension. He famously disliked the haircut that made him a star and struggled with the intense screaming fandom that accompanied his role. Professionally, he faced the difficult child star curse of typecasting, finding it hard to break away from the Shawn Hunter image to secure serious adult roles. Unlike many peers who chased the spotlight, he chose to step back from acting to attend Columbia University, a decision that prioritized his education but effectively paused his on-screen momentum and made his return to the industry a steeper climb. Ryder Strong has since carved out a successful career behind the camera, working as a writer and director for both film and television, including directing episodes of the spin-off Girl Meets World. He experienced a massive resurgence in pop culture relevance by co-hosting the hit rewatch podcast Pod Meets World, where he critically and humorously deconstructs his time on the show. As of 2026, at the age of 46, he is an active filmmaker and podcaster residing in Los Angeles with his wife Alexandra Barreto and their son. He has largely made peace with his past stardom, embracing the legacy of Shawn Hunter, while successfully establishing himself as a distinct storyteller and creative voice. William Daniels as George Feeny. Born on March 31, 1927, the Brooklyn native brought a lifetime of theatrical and dramatic experience to the set of Boy Meets World. At the age of 66, Daniels's portrayal of the strict yet deeply caring teacher and neighbor became a moral anchor for the show's young audience. Over 7 seasons, his delivery of life lessons, often from the other side of a backyard fence, transformed George Feeny from a mere antagonist to a beloved mentor, creating a cultural legacy where his character represents the ultimate standard of wisdom and educational guidance. Despite the warmth and infinite patience of Mr. Feeny, William Daniels was known in reality as a prickly, fiercely serious method actor who did not suffer fools gladly. This intensity created a stark contrast with the light-hearted environment of a children's sitcom. In fact, the role presented a professional conflict for him. He initially refused the part, twice threatening to walk away, because he feared the character would be written as a bumbling object of ridicule, a common trope for teachers in 90s sitcoms. His struggle was maintaining the dignity of the character against the whims of network television, and he famously forced the writers to rewrite scenes to ensure the educator commanded respect, battling against the industry's tendency to dumb down adult figures in youth programming. William Daniels continued to carry a prestigious legacy well after the show concluded, remaining an icon for his previous work as the voice of Kit in Knight Rider and Dr. Mark Craig in Saint Elsewhere. He enjoyed a remarkable personal stability, remaining married to his wife actress Bonnie Bartlett for over 7 decades. He eventually returned to his most famous role, offering final words of wisdom in the sequel series Girl Meets World. As of 2026, at the age of 99, he is living in retirement in Southern California, celebrated as one of the oldest living actors from television's golden age. Mena Suvari as Laura. Born on February 13, 1979, the Newport, Rhode Island native began her career in modeling before transitioning to screen acting. At the age of 15, Suvari landed one of her very first credited acting roles as Laura in the sitcom Boy Meets World. Appearing in the 1994 episode Danger Boy, she played a serious student paired with the main character Cory Matthews for a school project. While her time on the show was brief, and the role was a guest spot rather than a permanent fixture, it served as a vital stepping stone in her trajectory. This early appearance marked the beginning of a rapid ascent that would see her become a definitive face of late 90s cinema just a few years later. Despite the innocent nature of her early roles and the fantasy girl image she later became famous for in films like American Beauty, Mena Suvari's real-life experiences were far darker and more complex. She has since revealed a stark contrast between her polished, confident on-screen personas and a private life filled with unaddressed trauma and abuse. Professionally, she faced the significant struggle of typecasting following her massive success in 1999. The industry became fixated on her sexualized image, making it difficult for her to secure diverse roles. This led to a period where mainstream work became scarce, and she found herself navigating a series of independent films and smaller TV projects, while battling to prove her range beyond the teen dream archetype. Mena Suvari persevered through the fluctuations of Hollywood, eventually finding her voice as an author and advocate. She reclaimed her narrative with the publication of her 2021 memoir, The Great Peace, in which she detailed her journey through the dark underbelly of fame. She also found personal happiness marrying Michael Hope in 2018 and welcoming a son, Christopher, shortly after. As of 2026, at the age of 47, she is active in the industry, balancing her acting career with her work as a humanitarian and public speaker focused on protecting children and supporting survivors of trauma. Will Friedle as Eric Matthews. Born on August 11, 1976, in Hartford, Connecticut, Will Friedle landed the role that would define his early career on the ABC sitcom Boy Meets World. At the age of 17, Friedle introduced audiences to Eric Matthews, initially cast as the cool, popular older brother, before evolving the character into a wacky comedic breakout role. Over the show's 7-season run, his portrayal became a cultural phenomenon for 90s kids, particularly known for his impeccable comedic timing and the iconic Feeny call, turning a supporting role into one of the most beloved characters of the era. While Eric Matthews was famous for being dim-witted, manic, and endlessly confident, Friedle was a sharp contrast to his on-screen persona. Intelligent and introspective, he battled significant personal hurdles that the audience never saw. His career trajectory was heavily influenced by a severe struggle with anxiety and panic attacks, which onset towards the end of his time on the show. These health issues made on-camera acting nearly impossible for him for a long period, forcing him to retreat from physical roles and causing him to turn down various live-action opportunities that typically follow such a successful sitcom run. Fortunately, Friedle successfully pivoted his career, finding a massive second wind as a prolific voice actor, voicing iconic characters like Terry McGinnis in Batman Beyond and Ron Stoppable in Kim Possible. In his personal life, he married Susan Martins in 2016 and eventually became comfortable enough to return to occasional on-camera work, reprising his role as Eric in Girl Meets World. He also found massive success co-hosting the rewatch podcast Pod Meets World, openly discussing his past mental health struggles to help others. As of 2026, at the age of 50, he is an active and respected figure in the entertainment community, continuing to work in voiceover and podcasting while celebrating the legacy of the show that launched his career. Linda Cardellini as Lauren. Born on June 25, 1975 in Redwood City, California, the actress made a brief but explosive impact when she joined the cast of Boy Meets World during its 5th season. At the age of 22, Cardellini's portrayal of Lauren, the introspective photographer at the ski lodge who nearly dismantled the show's central romance between Corey and Topanga, became a cultural flashpoint for 90s television audiences. Her performance was so convincing that it turned her character into a widely debated figure, creating a dramatic arc that remains one of the most significant plot twists in the series' history. Despite the animosity fans directed toward the character of Lauren for interfering with a beloved couple, Linda Cardellini was known for a sweet demeanor and professional versatility that contrasted sharply with her role as a relationship interloper. Her journey after the sitcom was marked by professional heartbreak. She landed the lead role of Lindsay Weir in Freaks and Geeks, a show that is now considered a masterpiece but was painfully cancelled after only 1 season due to poor ratings and erratic scheduling. Following this, she faced the industry struggle of shedding the teenager label and avoiding being permanently typecast as the quirky intellectual after her high-profile turn as Velma in the Scooby-Doo franchise. Linda Cardellini persevered to build a prestigious career, seamlessly transitioning between drama and comedy with acclaimed roles in ER, Mad Men, Bloodline, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She eventually found massive success and garnered award nominations for her co-leading role in the dark comedy Dead to Me. In her private life, she settled down with her longtime partner Steven Rodriguez, with whom she shares a daughter. As of 2026, at the age of 51, she is a celebrated veteran of the industry, continuing to take on complex roles in film and television that far exceed the brief controversy of the ski lodge. Trina McGee as Angela Moore. Born on September 6, 1969 in the Bronx, New York, the talented actress joined the cast of Boy Meets World during its 5th season, infusing the show with a new dynamic. At the age of 28, Trina McGee took on the role of a high school student, playing Angela Moore, the intelligent and artistic girlfriend of Sean Hunter. Her portrayal was a cultural milestone for 1990s television, as her relationship with Sean represented one of the first major interracial couples on a primetime TGIF sitcom. She brought a grounded maturity and emotional depth to the series, becoming a fan favorite and an essential part of the group's transition from adolescence into young adulthood. Behind the scenes, the reality of McGee's experience was complicated by a significant age gap and feelings of isolation. Being nearly a decade older than her co-stars and one of the few black actors on the set, she often felt disconnected from the tight-knit core group. This contrast was stark. While Angela was integral to the on-screen chemistry, McGee faced professional hurdles off-screen, including instances of disrespect and microaggressions that she would only feel comfortable voicing years later. Perhaps the most stinging professional blow was her exclusion from the show's series finale, a decision that left her feeling sidelined despite her character's significance to the overarching narrative. In the years following the show, Trina McGee focused on her family and continued her artistic pursuits in writing and painting while eventually reconciling with her former castmates. She returned to the screen to reprise her iconic role in an episode of the spin-off Girl Meets World, providing closure for fans of the Sean and Angela relationship. She also made headlines in 2024 for a miraculous pregnancy at the age of 54, embracing motherhood again later in life. As of 2026, at the age of 57, she is enjoying a renaissance of public appreciation, balancing her life as a mother with her work as a writer, producer, and director, having reclaimed her narrative within the industry. Betsy Randle as Amy Matthews. Born on June 24, 1950, the Chicago native brought a sense of warmth and realism to the screen that defined the quintessential 90s sitcom Mother. At the age of 43, Randle's portrayal of Amy Matthews in Boy Meets World became the grounding force of the series, balancing a professional career with the chaotic duties of raising 3 children. For 7 seasons, she provided the emotional anchor for the Matthews family, offering a depiction of maternal strength and patience that made her a beloved figure in households across America. While Amy Matthews was the confident and outspoken voice of reason, Betsy Randle navigated her career with a much more private and reserved nature. The success of the show brought the inevitable challenge of typecasting. For years following the finale casting, directors struggled to see her as anything other than the wholesome suburban mother, limiting the range of roles available to her. She also faced the personal struggle of balancing her Hollywood career with her real-life role as a mother, eventually choosing to step back from the intense grind of the industry to focus on raising her own children, a decision that slowed her on-screen momentum but preserved her family life. Betsy Randle eventually returned to the screen on her own terms, most notably delighting fans by reprising her iconic role in the sequel series Girl Meets World and taking on parts in independent films like Dirty 30 and Painter. She has spent much of her later years living a quiet life away from the Los Angeles spotlight in Ojai, California, with her husband, film editor John Randle. As of 2026, at the age of 76, she is semi-retired, but continues to engage with the show's enduring fan base through conventions and reunion specials, maintaining a legacy as one of television's most comforting maternal figures. Maitland Ward as Rachel McGuire. Born on February 3, 1977, the Long Beach, California native joined the established cast of Boy Meets World during its 6th season in 1998. At the age of 21, Ward's portrayal of the tall, charismatic, and often comedic roommate became a focal point of the show's college years, injecting a new dynamic into the core group of friends. Her character served as a maturing influence for the male leads and became a memorable fixture of the TGIF lineup, cementing her image as a quintessential girl next door and a teenage crush for a generation of viewers. Despite the wholesome, family-friendly image cultivated by her role on the Disney-owned network, Maitland Ward felt intensely constrained by the expectations placed upon her by Hollywood. The industry often viewed her solely through the lens of her physical appearance, leading to a frustrating period where she struggled with being typecast as the unattainable hot girl without depth. Following the show's conclusion and a role in the comedy White Chicks, she found herself unable to break free from this stereotype, facing a long stagnation in her acting career, where she felt her true personality and sexuality were suppressed by the rigid conservative standards of mainstream television. Maitland Ward eventually took radical control of her professional narrative, stepping away from traditional Hollywood to pursue a highly publicized and lucrative career in the adult film industry starting in 2019. This pivot allowed her to reclaim her agency, earning her multiple AVN awards, and leading to the release of her memoir, Rated X, which details her journey from sitcom stardom to adult entertainment. She continues to advocate for performer rights and embraces her unexpected path with confidence, having been married to real estate agent Terry Baxter since 2006. As of 2026, at the age of 49, she is a top-performing star in the adult world and remains a vocal public figure regarding sexual liberation. Norris as Stuart Minkus. Born on September 25, 1981 in Greenville, North Carolina, the young actor stepped into the shoes of the class genius in the ABC sitcom Boy Meets World. At the age of 11, Norris's portrayal of Stuart Minkus became the definitive archetype of the know-it-all student, serving as the perfect intellectual foil to the show's slacker protagonists. Though initially a supporting role during the show's freshman year, his distinct mannerisms, high-pitched laugh, and unrequited love for Topanga Lawrence made him a memorable fan favorite, cementing his place in 90s pop culture history as the quintessential sitcom nerd. While Stuart Minkus was often portrayed as an arrogant and socially awkward intellectual, Lee Norris was known off-screen for his grounded, friendly, and humble demeanor, contrasting sharply with his character's abrasive superiority. His time on the show was marked by a sudden and confusing professional hurdle. After the first season, his character was inexplicably written out of the series, a move often cited as a classic example of television characters simply vanishing without a trace to focus on other storylines. This abrupt departure left him navigating the difficult landscape of child stardom, facing the challenge of shaking the nerd typecast, while looking for steady work in an industry that often discards its young talents. Lee Norris successfully broke the child actor curse, most notably securing a long-running and beloved role as Marvin "Mouth" McFadden on the hit drama One Tree Hill, which allowed him to evolve from a sidekick into a complex dramatic lead over 9 seasons. He later delighted fans by reprising his role as Minkus in the spin-off Girl Meets World, finally bringing closure to the character's storyline, and made an appearance in the acclaimed film Gone Girl. In his personal life, he has maintained a relatively low profile, settling down with his wife Andrea, whom he married in 2011. As of 2026, at the age of 44, he continues to act and attend fan conventions, enjoying a stable career and family life that has spanned over 3 decades. Anthony Tyler, Quinn, as Jonathan Turner. Born on July 25, 1962, in New London, Connecticut, the actor joined the cast of Boy Meets World during its 2nd season to inject a younger, edgier energy into the show's academic setting. At the age of 32, Quinn's portrayal of Jonathan Turner, the unconventional English teacher who wore a leather jacket and rode a motorcycle, became a cultural touchstone for 90s television. He successfully bridged the gap between the adult and teen worlds, offering a cool yet authoritative presence that resonated deeply with audiences, particularly through his heartfelt mentorship and guardianship of the troubled character Sean Hunter. While Mr. Turner was depicted as a hip, dating-savvy bachelor, Anthony Tyler Quinn was a grounded family man who had already married his high school sweetheart before finding fame. A significant professional struggle arose regarding the abrupt and confusing end to his character's arc. After a dramatic motorcycle crash cliffhanger in the 4th season, Jonathan Turner simply vanished from the series without explanation. Quinn later revealed that this was due to network shifts and budget cuts, a harsh reality of the industry that left him jobless, and the character in narrative limbo, which was a frustrating hurdle in an otherwise steady career. Anthony Tyler. Quinn continued to work consistently in Hollywood, securing recurring roles on shows like Melrose Place and Caroline in the City, and eventually received the on-screen closure fans craved by reprising his famous role in the spin-off Girl Meets World. As of 2026, at the age of 64, he is alive and active in the industry, splitting his time between acting commitments and working as a drama teacher at a high school in California. He remains dedicated to his craft and his family, having transitioned from the cool teacher on screen to a real-life mentor for aspiring young actors. Keri Russell as Jessica. Born on March 23, 1976, in Fountain Valley, California, the actress began her career as a mouseketeer before landing a guest spot on the burgeoning hit Boy Meets World. At the age of 17, Russell's portrayal of Jessica, Mr. Feeny's beautiful and intelligent niece, served as a memorable plot device that sent main character Eric Matthews into a frenzy of infatuation. While her appearance was limited to a single episode, her performance contributed to the early charm of a series that defined a generation, offering a glimpse of the girl-next-door charisma that would soon make her a massive star. Despite the wholesome image she projected in early roles like Jessica, and later cemented in Felicity, Russell often found the pressure of maintaining that idealized persona to be stifling. The contrast between her public image and her desire for autonomy came to a head during Felicity, when a decision to cut her signature curly hair resulted in a notorious media backlash and a ratings drop, turning a personal choice into a professional scandal. Following the show's conclusion, she faced the difficult struggle of shedding the teen icon label, taking a hiatus to escape the industry's noise and fighting against typecasting to prove she was capable of grittier, darker performances. Keri Russell successfully reinvented her career, moving away from innocent roles to garner critical acclaim for her intense portrayal of a Soviet spy in the drama The Americans, where she also met her long-term partner, Matthew Rhys. She continued to dominate the screen in films like Cocaine Bear and the political thriller series The Diplomat. As of 2026, at the age of 50, she is regarded as one of television's most versatile actresses, balancing a high-profile career with a private life in New York, having long surpassed the brief cameo that marked her early days in Hollywood. Time moves fast, yet the echoes of Mr. Feeny's wisdom still resonate in our daily lives. Seeing the cast today serves as a poignant reminder that while we all must grow up, we never truly have to grow apart from the stories that shaped us. It has been an incredible journey revisiting these legends. If you enjoyed this look back at the Matthews family and friends, hit that subscribe button and tell us who your favorite character was.